Getting that stuff out of your head and onto paper is the thing that is going to set you free. Welcome to the Business Bloke podcast. Growing your business doesn't have to be hard. I am your host, Andrew Savage, a business and mindset coach with plenty of leadership tools and strategies to help you grow your life and business. Give yourself permission to get curious, lean in, and enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Business Bloke podcast. The theme for all my content this week is organisation, because organisation is the thing that can help us beat the overwhelm and the stress and the burnout. And I liken it to, say you decide to train for a marathon and you're overwhelmed by the prospect of the marathon, unless you're a marathon runner. But someone like me would be like, holy smoke, where do I start? And it's running that first K that is probably the most difficult part. And if you can just keep up that momentum, you're fine. And I find things like journaling and planning my week are the thing that actually differentiates between me feeling stressed and overwhelmed and me feeling more in control of how I go. So how do I do it? I actually created myself, I call it a journal, but it's officially known as a planny thingy. But it's basically a way to set your mindset up for the week and plan your days. So how I start is I have a weekly schedule. So I'll sit down on a Sunday night or Monday morning, and you just have a schedule from Monday to Sunday, and it starts at 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it's very, very broad. You just blank out times when you have gym in the morning and school and your planning days or work. And if you just blank out sort of 4-5 hour periods of times and those major big ticket things during your week, it's surprising to see the gaps that are in there. So for example, I've got planning from 8 till 11 on Monday, and then I've got something music related 1 to 3 on Monday afternoon. There's actually a gap there from 12 till 1 o'clock that I didn't realize I had. So when you say you're all busy with all the things and you don't have time, how do you know you don't have time unless you're actually measuring it? So this weekly schedule, very broad, very quick to do, actually opens up all the gaps in your week, and you'll be surprised at how many gaps you have. Because in the busy life of being hustly, we just fill our time with stuff, and it's amazing how we just fill it in. So weekly schedule, key to identify the gaps. While I'm doing that weekly schedule, I identify the 3 big rocks for the week. And what are 3 big rocks? If you have a glass and you fill it full of pebbles, sand and stones, if you put the sand and stones in first, the big rocks will just sit on top. So if you put the rocks in first and fill the pebbles in and then the sand, you can fit much more into the glass in a much more efficient way. So the 3 big rocks are, imagine you have 3 big rocks in a small glass. You have to get them in first, and then all the pebbles and sand will fall into place after that. 3 big rocks. So what are your 3 big rocks for the week? And the 3 big rocks are just 3 things that you know that if you do, will move you and your business forward a lot quicker. So 3 big rocks, really, really important. What do I need most right now? So you got to ask yourself that question when you're doing this. What do I need most right now? Is it discipline? Is it help? Is it that course you said you would sign up for? The second question I ask in my weekly schedule is what is missing? So if I review the week before, I'll go, what was I missing from the last week? For some reason, I've got accountability written in one of the weeks that I did. So obviously, someone to help keep me accountable for my goals. And number 3, speaking of that, the question I ask is, who will I ask for help? Asking for help is a very vulnerable thing to do, but also a very powerful thing to do. So the 3 questions: what do I need most right now? What's missing? And who do I ask for help? They are just the 3 things that I will write underneath my weekly schedule once I've identified the gaps and all of the big rocks that I have to do for the week. Monday mindset. So I'll do this on a Sunday evening or a Monday morning, and I ask myself 9 strategic questions around how I'm going to front up this week. Monday mindset. Question number 1. One thing I can get excited about this week is, because if you're not getting excited about something during the week, then you'll be living an existence in a vacuum. So one thing I can get excited about this week, it could be anything. It could be something that the kids are doing. It could be something that you know you're going to tick off. It could be something that's been bugging you that you know you're going to get done. Write that thing in there. Question 2, if one word could describe the person I want to be this week, then that word is, and the reason I choose it is. Some of these questions, actually, disclaimer, if you know Brendan Burchard and the High Performance Planner, I used his planner for quite a few years, but I just found it was taking way too much time because these questions were daily and they were morning and night. And I just asked myself them on a Monday. They're not an exact replica of his questions, but they are very, very similar. So if one word could describe the person I want to be this week, then that word is. So do you want to turn up fun? Do you want to be calm? Sometimes it's the converse of the thing that you know you are that you shouldn't. So that's a really cool question. Question 3, someone who needs me on my A game. I often write family in here because family, sometimes they are our number one priority. They are my number one priority, but in the hustle, sometimes you reprioritize them and they get bumped down the pecking order a little bit with a big project at work or something like that. So, but yeah, someone who needs you on your A game, just write that in there. Question 4, a situation that may stress you out or trip you up this week. So just prepare for something that you know could be tricky. Maybe it's a bad habit you've got. Maybe it's a job interview. Maybe it is just something big, a transaction or something you've got coming this week that you have been maybe worried about or stressed about it. Because if you can get that worry and stress from in your head and out onto paper, you'll actually relieve yourself of that pressure. So write it down. So a situation that may stress you out or trip you up this week. And what is the way that your best self will deal with that situation? If it's an interview, have you set aside a little bit of time to prepare for that interview? If you get really nervous about something, what are the tricks that you've got to curb your nerves? Have you given yourself the space to fit those in there somewhere? So the best way yourself will deal with that. And I also write my 3 big rocks here. That's question 5. What are the 3 big rocks that will move you and your business forward this week? Question 6, what can I do this week to show my strengths and value? If you haven't extracted your values, then I highly recommend it because our values are the thing that makes us tick. I hold contribution quite high on my value ladder and also growth. So if you are doing things during the week that meet your values, you're going to have a better week. You're going to feel more fulfilled by carrying out your values during the week. If you need help extracting your values, reach out, send me a message. I've got a pretty cool framework that helps elicit values, and it's really, really powerful if you're stuck to get your values sorted. So what can you do this week that shows your strengths and your value? Write something down there. The 7th question I ask myself on a Monday morning or Sunday evening, what is something new I can try this week? Something that puts me outside my comfort zone. We know that growth happens outside our comfort zone. The Olympics this week, the Olympic athletes, they don't get anywhere by staying comfortable, right? They grow and they grow. They are on a constant trajectory of growth. You have to step outside your comfort zone to grow. So what is it that you're going to do this week that just puts you outside your comfort zone? Is it a fear that you're just going to dip your toe in the water? Is it signing up for Toastmasters? Is it a course or a person or someone you are going to ask out? It can be life or business. If you had already lived this week ahead, what would you do differently? That is question 8. If you have already lived this week ahead, what would you do differently. And this came from a little bit of Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, where he talks about this in a day context, but I threw it into a weekly context. Is there something that keeps reoccurring that you are not taking care of? So what happened last week that held you back? Is it alcohol? Is it your diet? Is it lack of looking after yourself? What is it that you can kind of predict you're going to get to the end of the week with and wish that you hadn't done? Write it down. You've got to get that out of your head and onto a piece of paper. So that's a really, really cool thing. And it just gets your mind thinking in a different reframe. Question 9, something I have my eye on in the future. So just think about something that's a little bit distant that you would love to achieve and plonk it in there, because that also helps you figure out why it is that you're getting up every day and doing what you're doing. Is it a house? Is it lots of cash? Is it your health? Are you in a bit of a healthy crisis or an unhealthy crisis, as the case may be? Something you have your eye on for the future, plonk that in there. So that is my Monday mindset questions and my weekly schedule. So it's literally only 10 minutes, not even that, doing that at the start of a week. And that has the potential to save you hours during a week. And that's what I'm saying about the marathon analogy. You just got to sit down with that 10 to 15 minutes and get started. And then on a daily basis, very quick, I have just a schedule from, it starts at 6 a.m, goes to 8:30. Just have a very quick daily plan. What went well yesterday is what I ask myself. What went well yesterday? What didn't go so well yesterday? What distracted me, and how do I fix it? I would say 75% of people are going to start to write social media in that space. For some reason, I'm looking at an old journal here. It says Yellowstone. So must have been a little bit of a binge on Yellowstone going on at that period of time. So what went well yesterday? What didn't go so well? And what distracted me? And how do I fix it? Ask yourself that question. On the other side of the page, I write 3 tasks that absolutely must be done today. 1, 2, 3. I find sometimes when I'm writing this, I can actually tick one of them off there and then. Maybe it's a text message you should have sent someone or just a quick phone call, but 3 tasks that absolutely must be done. How I prioritize this little tasky bit here, I use Google Tasks on my phone. So I'm not walking around with a journal under my arm. I have, like all of us, we have a mobile phone. So use the mobile phone for a greater purpose. I use Google Tasks and Google Notes, but mostly tasks. So if I'm on the fly and something comes up, something I've forgotten, something needs fixing, there's a fence needs fixing, there's a light bulb, there's a leaky tap, something that's been bugging you for a long period of time, they are the things that cause us stress and overwhelm, right? Repetition of those things that just manifest stress in our brain. Get them into your phone and then get them out into this task that must be done today. Just pick 3, 1, 2, 3. And you just feel so much better. You feel like you've just lifted a little weight off your shoulders if you can just tick one of those things off. You can see a pattern here about getting the stuff out of your head. That is the key here. So out of your head into Google Tasks, out of Google Tasks and onto your journal, and then just tick them off. And if you don't get them all done, then don't beat yourself up. I will either in the morning or evening at the bottom of my daily journal, I'll write 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things I am proud of. And that is how I use my journal planner thingy to get all of that stuff out of my head onto paper and into action. And that is on a weekly basis. I have a quarterly tool that I use as well. But that weekly, daily routine of getting that stuff out of your head and onto paper and into action is the thing that's going to move you forward way quicker and cause you lots less stress, burnout, and overwhelm. There's one other little tool, speaking of organisation, it's a bit of a theme for this week, that I use, and that is my man bag. So my coach kept trying to say, it doesn't matter how you say it, it's a handbag. But I was always looking for stuff. How frustrated are you looking for keys, looking for your wallet, looking for your sunnies? Are you that person that is running around the house like a blue-ass fly in the morning, looking for all that stuff? Our unconscious mind is a little bit weird like that, because certainty is something that is one of our human needs, but so is uncertainty and variety. And our unconscious mind can get bored, and it satisfies its need for variety by just putting stuff down in random places, like your sunnies, like your keys, like your wallet, like your drink bottle. And it's frustrating. And it is one of the things that causes us stress and burnout in the mornings, right? We start the day bad because we can't find all our stuff. A man bag, I went and got a crumpler satchel. And even though I don't walk around with a satchel on, all my stuff just goes in there. If I see something lying around that shouldn't be where it is, I grab it and I put it in that man bag. And even my wife or kids, if they see my wallet, they will go and put it in my handbag, because they don't want to tolerate the BS in the morning when I can't find my wallet. Find some sort of receptacle or system for putting those daily things in one spot so that you know where they are. You have the key place for your car keys, but yeah, have your own receptacle, something that organizes your stuff. I've got in mine a multi-tool, my head torch, a phone charger, my battery pack, and then all of those things just go in and out of there all day. My car keys, my wallet, my sunnies, all that sort of stuff. Find yourself a system for organizing the things that piss you off every day. That is my advice. So once we start to systematize that stuff, it's going to help us break free from that stress in the morning and the burnout and some of that overwhelm that we suffer at periods of time. And we're going to be a much better dad, parent, mother, person, boss, employee, if we are more organized. Hopefully these pointers are of some use. If you're curious and would like to know more about the things that I've talked about, like, just flick me a message, send me a DM. I'm on TheBusinessBloke on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Andrew Savage, and I'm also on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to jump on a 30-minute strategy call just about where you're stuck and where you're at, and we can move you forward from there. So thanks for listening. I hope it's been of some use, and I'm excited for next week's podcast. So hope you're all getting amongst it. We'll catch up with you.
If you've got this far, you've reached the end of the episode, or you've left your car running. I really hope you got something out of this episode of the Business Bloke podcast, and maybe you've got something to take away to apply to your own business. I'm a pretty friendly bloke, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, just look up Andrew Savage, or on Instagram, the handle is TheBusinessBloke. Thanks for listening, reach out, and we'll catch up with you soon. Good one. Cheers.